Welcome to KQEG and Seven River Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and fitness. Well, this week we're going to take a break from high school basketball, and we're going to talk about wrestling. With us today, two wrestlers from the Crosse Wrestling Co-op, Central Logan, Psalm Woody and Chariell Butler. Welcome to the show, girls. Well, wrestling is fading throughout the country. The sport of wrestling in high school has faded immensely due to other interests that athletes have, due to the fact that there are some helicopter parents that get involved, and it's just a sport that, with concussions and so on, high school athletes are not getting involved. And then comes the girls. Now, you probably didn't know this, but the spike in girls participating in high school wrestling is on the increase. In 2008, there were like 5,000 wrestlers in the country. Now there are 16,000, and you, too, are trailblazers in the La Crosse area. So it's great to have you. I look at your shirt, Commit, Grind, and Win. Starting with you, Psalm, who just came to this area, by the way. She came from Kansas and Colorado, and is a gift to this area because this is your first year in La Crosse. What does that mean? Commit, grind, and win.
That's like our motto and what we strive to do.
How do you show that on the wrestling mats?
You just work hard and you push yourself as far as you can. Yes, sir.
Chariell, knowing you, knowing your history, and we'll talk about that, you've always been a competitive person, and I can see the same thing with Psalm. By the way, what a great names, Psalm, Woody, and competitive nature is just kind of who you are.
Yeah, it is. I just like pushing myself and seeing how far I can take it. And I haven't ever reached a breaking point, so.
Have you come close to a breaking point at all?
No, well, it's all mental. Like, sometimes you think you're gonna die in practice, but I've never reached a breaking point. So.
You know, I've read where some boys, and this is throughout the country, do not want to competitively wrestle with girls, so they'll take forfeits. Yeah. Because they're just not comfortable. What's your thought on that, Psalm?
I think it's like, if girls are there to wrestle, so like, why don't you just wrestle them and give them that chance, I don't know, just to wrestle. I think they should, I don't know how to put it into words, but I think they should just be okay with wrestling.
Yeah, well, so do I. But have you ever asked an opponent, like, what's wrong with wrestling me? You just don't want to get beat. That's probably right.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked them?
No, sir. I wrestle, like, I compete with girls, too.
Okay, but there are times when you compete with boys? Not at all?
No, sir.
And how about with Chariell?
Yeah.
Are there times when you compete against a boy?
I compete with boys more than I do with girls.
Okay.
It's just like a choice.
So there are some groups that are forming. One of them is called Wrestle Like a Girl throughout the country. Maybe you've heard of that. And there are others that, I think there's something like 15 states now that have competitive wrestling just for girls in high school, and then they go on to the postseason. What's your thought about that, Chariell?
I think it's actually pretty cool. I mean, personally, I'm in other sports, so I don't take wrestling throughout the other seasons, but I think it's a good opportunity for everybody to be able to like do what they love and not be told that they can't really do that because there isn't a program for them out there.
Boundaries have changed. I say a decade ago in this country, this would never have happened, where girls wrestle on boys' teams in sort of a co-op kind of situation, boys, girls. But the boundaries have changed in terms of gender, femininity, and so on. So let's talk about, like, how you're part of a trailblazing group, basically, that, again, a decade ago would not have occurred. Any thoughts on that, Psalm?
I just I think, I
mean, how do you feel about kind of you're on the edge of maybe some big changes? Are you
think
comfortable
it's-
with that?
Yes, sir. I think it's a good thing to get out of your comfort zone and try new things. And yeah, that's what I did. And I actually enjoy wrestling a lot.
And
it's
so let's go back to, I mean, you're in multiple sports, you're track, you're dance, I mean, you're an overall good student athlete. But let's go back to when you thought, I'm going to just try this sport. I mean, what were your thoughts? What were your apprehensions? What did your parents think?
At first, like, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do it, but like once I started doing it, like wrestling, I was like, I really like this sport, and it was definitely different from the other sports I did before. And like my parents, my dad, like, he's a wrestler too, like he was a wrestler, so like he kind of like he didn't make me do it, but like he kind of had influence, and I really enjoy it.
So he encouraged you. Well,
Yeah.
Chariell, we know that you're as Psalm, we know that you're a softball player. That's maybe your favorite sport, and you're very good at it. I know that, volleyball and so on. But when did you kind of think, like, I'm going to try this?
So my brother wrestled when I was younger, and I was a 4-year-old sitting in practice watching them play games. Like, I wasn't interested in like the wrestling aspect, but as a 4-year-old, I was like, hey Mom, they play games, can I join? And it was just kind of like fun and games at first, but then it wasn't until like I hit like 2nd, 3rd grade-ish that I actually started being serious about it. And that's when I started like taking it seriously and actually training.
And of course, you're like your brother, Demond, and who, I mean, your family, very close to, I know your family very well, and your mom. And so you started, you were introduced to sports when you were very, very young, and it was at the Boys and Girls Club. Let's go back down memory lane and talk about that.
I think this first sport I was ever in is T-ball the first one? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I started in T-ball with my brother. I started a lot of things with my brother. Yeah, I started T-ball and then moved on up to coach pitch with the Little Brewers. And then I got into softball through the BGC. And then I think then wrestling was next because it was winter. So I started wrestling when I was 4, continued. I was in BGC since I was 4 till 8th grade. And I still go back to some practices still. And then I think 5th grade, I started volleyball with the BGC. So yeah.
Good. So your roots are deeply in the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
And of course, I've seen you compete, but I have not seen some compete because I know moving from Kansas, Colorado, you've been in different parts of this country. Go back down memory lane with your introduction to sports.
I think it was 3rd grade. I started tennis, and then when middle school started, I was like in cross country and track, and then soccer. And then I moved to high school, and then I did cross country my 9th grade year, and also track. And then, but I also in my 8th grade year, I forgot to say that I started wrestling, and I had cheer too at the same time. So I was doing wrestling and cheer. And then 9th grade, I moved, and then did that cross country, track. Sophomore year, same thing, cross country and track, and then cheer. And then this year, it's wrestling, dance, and track.
So has it been a difficult transition going from different schools and then now settling into lacrosse?
Yes, sir, it has been difficult, but like, I'm glad that I did move here and got to experience wrestling here because I really like my team.
And the culture of your team and the culture of Central, can you share that?
I could tell like there's like hard workers at the school, and on my dance team, like I'm also glad I have them too, because it's just cool to be in both dance and wrestling, and that my school is okay with me doing both.
I'm very familiar with the culture of both and the leadership in both schools. Describe for our viewers that might not know, though, the culture at Logan. Chariell?
I think it's just really an accepting place. Like, there's not much conflict really going on. Everybody's there to succeed, I feel like. And like Central, there's a lot of hard workers, there's a lot of athletes, there's a lot of student athletes, and just like there to work, and like majority of people have their minds set on a correct goal, like a goal that's going to move them forward, and they're there for each other. And then with like sports teams, there's like always like a feeling of family in there. Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm here to play for myself. It's no, we play for each other to win.
Are you part of encouraging that kind of family culture?
I try to be.
In what way?
Just, I'm there to listen. Like, sometimes it's like some problems are bigger than other things. Like, sometimes your teammates just need someone to listen. Mm-hmm. Even if it's some of the guys on the wrestling team, they don't like to be emotional, but like just being there for each other outside of the sport too, creating like an environment where you can feel accepted.
And both schools have very encouraging staff, teachers, administrators, and they're welcome places, and they develop a level of comfort for you, don't they? Well, we're going to step aside just for a minute. When we come back more as we explore lacrosse high school wrestling here on Seven Rivers Sports.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. This is a special show this week, a break from basketball, talking about lacrosse high school wrestling. 2 accomplished wrestlers, Psalm Woody and Chariell Butler. Psalm, how the heck did you get that beautiful name anyway?
My grandma, she actually like helped my mom name me while my dad was like gone for the military. So yeah.
That's a beautiful name. Have you looked at maybe any other, Googled it on any other, I mean, I know what it's named, it's a biblical name, but is there any other thoughts behind that name?
I think that was like her favorite book in the Bible, and I think someone else was named that, and it was just spelled differently probably. I think it was spelled differently.
But by the way, Chariell's a beautiful name too, right?
I mean, I like it.
How did that, there's not too many Chariells around.
No, I've never met one. I was named after 2 of my grandmas, my grandma Charlotte and my grandma Freddie Mae. Put it together, my mom got Charmaine, but my sister thought it sounded like Charmin, the toilet paper brand. So my middle name's May. But my mom just liked putting L. She like wrote it out a bunch of different ways and ended up coming up with Chariell, and she just thought it came off the tongue nice. And
certainly does. Well, 2 juniors, Central High School, Logan High School. I know before we went on the air for the show, you talked about how strong and committed you are to academics. Student first, athlete second. Talk about your accomplishments in the classroom.
Well, for me, this year I got Student of the Month somehow. And what I do is I always try to get my homework done and try to stay on top of my grades and stuff.
Is it hard, though? You're involved in 3 activities, and you're taking some difficult classes. So you have wrestling, you have track and field, you have dance. Is it hard to balance all of that and stay on top of your classwork?
It is, but like I have to remember that those things do come first, because when others, like when you go to like college and stuff, they're gonna look at that too. Like your grades are good, and that's what they look for too.
Now you're only a junior, but just fast forward to your senior year, and you're going to accomplish a lot more. We might even have you back on the show after, and then off to the next chapter in your life. Have you even thought about that, Psalm?
I have thought about it, but I'm not sure where I'm like thinking to go yet for like college and stuff. I'm not sure.
Would you like to take your wrestling, track and field, dance skills to the next level?
Yes, sir. I wouldn't. One of those, like any of them, I'll love to like go to college and do that, because I love all of them.
Family is a big part of who both of you are. Family with you, mom, dad, and they're very encouraging. Siblings too?
Yes, sir. They all support me, and they help me. I don't know. They just help me. They motivate me to keep going with my sports.
Mm-hmm. And with Chariell volleyball, we know that. I've seen you participate wrestling, seen you there. Softball, watched you play third base, utility, and then a sport called show choir, which is certainly a sport, because you have to be talented to be involved in that, both singing and dancing and so on. Blending all that together and then being a top student, that's not easy.
No. It gets stressful at times, and sometimes you feel overwhelmed, but you just kind of have to step back and realize that school does have to come first. So sometimes you have to, I've had it where I had to sit out of a practice before because one of my grades wasn't the best, but it's okay. Like, I feel like since I've been doing it for so long, like I'm better at managing my time, but there's a lot of times where you get a little stressed, but it always ends up working out. So
family support too, and know your family real well, and they're your biggest fans, aren't they?
Yeah, especially my mom. She's at every game, and she checks up on my homework. She makes sure I don't get behind on that. But the biggest thing is that she makes it to every event. So
you take a lot of the most difficult AP classes too?
Some of them. I'm in Spanish 6 currently. I'm in honors English. That's kind of where I stopped.
Well, and you both have had honors, and just knowing Chariell like I do, Girl of the Year at the club, Athlete of the Year, involved in the Erickson Boys and Girls Club, and this is interesting. I'm very familiar with Martin Luther King and use some of his quotes in some of my presentations, and have always been a fan of what he has stood for, and you are, both of you are also I know. And Chariell, not too long ago you received the Linda Blackman Lowry Leadership Award. How did that materialize?
I was actually nominated by my principal. I didn't know about the award until he called me into his office and asked if I was interested in even being nominated. And then he talked about all like the logistical stuff with it. And so my teacher, Miss Kramer, one of my favorite teachers, she ended up writing a letter to kind of sum me up as a student. And I ended up winning, and with that I had to write a speech and do that at the MLK celebration.
Fast forward your life.
Yes.
To graduating in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and then moving on to what's next for Chariell?
Well, the plan is in the future, I'd like to be a physical therapist. I'd like to go to school on a softball scholarship, but if that doesn't happen, it's okay. but I'd like to play some sports out of high school. But what's more important is that I get I get put into a career that I actually like.
Which may be physical therapist?
Yes.
Maybe something.
Yeah.
Career for you, Psalm, at some point?
I've always wanted to be a elementary teacher. Yes, sir.
You know, I think our viewers would agree that you have the personality, the smile, to be a great kindergarten teacher. I would think you'd be great at that. Or do you want to move up another level or so?
3rd grade.
3rd grade. Okay, why do you pick 3rd grade?
I've always, like, I got my favorite teacher, like, ever there in that grade. And she even moved to 4th grade with us. So it was really cool to have her for 3rd grade and 4th grade.
Define leadership and how that applies to you and how you want others to see you, whether you're in any hobbies, any activities in school, because you're a leader. You're on a platform because with being involved in all your activities, there's an expectation being on that platform. Talk about that.
I think to be a leader, you have to be committed to whatever you're doing and make sure that you're showing others that, I don't know how to put it into words, but like you're on top of everything you're doing basically, and
you are on top of everything you're
Yes,
doing.
sir.
And certainly Chariell, leadership, being a role model, your people see you in the hall and there's Chariell, don't they? What do you want them to see?
Someone they can look up to and aspire to be, just like their character. I build myself on character. Like, I've had to like build a reputation like around myself, and just like don't get involved in the things that aren't gonna help you succeed, stuff like that. I've seen friends do that. It's just, I'm not a fan of that.
How do you build strength to not go down that road? Because a lot of people do, and you know, I don't pass judgment, criticize, hold anything against them. It's out there. I try to look for the best in people, but it's not easy sometimes, is it?
No, sometimes it's hard to not give in to peer pressure, but I'm big on setting goals, and I like look into the future on where I want to see myself, and if me doing a certain action isn't going to further me, then why am I doing it?
Mm-hmm. Do you have a philosophy of life overall as a junior in high school? Would there be anything that, any person or anything that you think of that really is special to you? If you could have lunch or breakfast with somebody, get to know somebody that you've never met, either present or in the past, will there be somebody that you really think is a special person?
Well, to me, like, someone that's special would probably be my dad, like, because he pushes me to do the best, and he's tough on me, but like, I know it's to better me as a person and to make sure that I have a good future. And
that's awesome. Yeah. And you identified in your profile that mom is special to you because she's your biggest role model.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she just, like, she had a hard time with when we were younger with like the dad situation, but she's just like a strong person and strong personality. But yeah, she just pushes me to be the best person I can be.
Are you an emotional person?
Yes.
Yeah. So if there's something people would say, what's something I don't know about Chariell Butler, it would be you have a soft heart and you're an emotional, you react emotionally to a lot of situations?
Yeah, my heart's in a lot of things. Like, I have like a tough persona, kind of like that. Like, I am the wrestler, like, I'm strong-willed and stuff like that, and you have to keep a straight face, strong face all the time, but I'm really a softie.
I think we got another softie over there too, aren't you?
Yes,
but
sir.
not soft on the wrestling match, on the wrestling mats, I'll tell you that. Well, it's been a pleasure. It's been I don't always say this, but this has been special, just meeting a couple of trailblazers committed to the sport of wrestling, breaking some of the previous barriers, and two attractive and accomplished and confident young ladies, and they have been my guests, and it's Psalm Woody and Chariell Butler. Thanks for being on the show, and good luck in your spring sports and then in your senior year. So thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
We'll be back with a couple recent basketball games right after this.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 five-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Well, 2 big games this weekend. Let's start in Madison, Edgewood High School, for the sectional championship, the Crosse Aquinas versus Cambridge. After a slow start, the Blue Ghosts caught fire, rolling to a 45-17 halftime lead. Cambridge played much better to begin the second half, but Aquinas was too much as they coasted to another impressive win. Lexi Donarski led the scores with 30 points. Her freshman sister followed with 20. Taylor Tayish added 10. Seniors Gracie Korth, Maya Holzheater, and Olivia Williams all had 9 points for Cambridge, who ended their season 13-13. Final, Blue Ghosts 73, Cambridge 34. The Dave Donarski-led Blue Ghosts win the sectional championship and take their 24-1 record to the state tournament, hoping for a three-peat championship. Aquinas will play the number 4 seed, Crandon, Thursday at 6:30 at the Resch Center in Green Bay. Congratulations also to area teams Melrose, Mindoro, Bangor, and Arcadia for advancing to the state tournament. Well, a quick trip back to La Crosse to cover the D2 Boys Regional Final at Central. The Red Raiders hosting New Richmond. Both teams struggled early in the first half, with Central taking a 33-20 lead into halftime. The Red Raiders' defense intensified after the break, led by the outside shooting and penetration of Terrence Thompson and Jordan Davis. After a quiet first half, Thompson showcased his talents with his second straight double-double performance, 18 points, 11 rebounds. Johnny Davis had 24 points, with twin brother Jordan 14 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. Sophomore C.J. Campbell led New Richmond with 16 points. Joey Kidder, 13. Jack Steindeman with 12. The Tigers finished the season 20-4, while the Red Raiders win their 5th consecutive regional crown. Well, the much-anticipated sectional semis, the matchup between the Onalaska Hilltoppers and Central, set for Thursday night, and we'll be there to bring you all the action. Final from the Mark Sutton Memorial Gymnasium, Central 76 and New Richmond 58. Well, that does it this week here on 7 River Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you will have an active and a healthy week ahead.